Hello Facebook, hello YouTube. This is Ruben and I'm back with another Ruben report. Today is going to be a very short update. I know that in a past video, I'm not particularly sure which one. If I find out, I'll post it up here. It'd be cool to know how fast the bike can actually go with, whatever type gearing, right? The only top speed test I have not released yet, as far as the gearings that are concerned, is a 1344 gearing setup. So if my bike ever starts running properly again, that'll probably be the last top speed video that I'll release. In one of my past videos or one of my past posts on a Facebook group, if you guys are not in the Facebook group, the links to the Facebook groups are going to be in the description below as well. If you guys join those Facebook groups, there's a lot more posts, a lot more information about my whole ownership experience thus far, because that's kind of where this whole YouTube channel kind of originated from. But anyway, in one of those older posts, I stated that if I was going to do another top speed test, it'll be the last top speed test that I would do, and that is with the 1344 gearing. That's the gearing that I have now. And the last top speed test that I did was during my MPG experiments, where I experimented with a 13 tooth front and a 45 tooth rear. During the video where I changed my chain, I actually, right before then, I didn't have it on camera, but right before then I switched back to the 44 tooth sprocket in the rear, just so my RPMs on the highway and just in general the RPMs could be just a tad bit lower. It revved a little bit too high for me. Just a little bit in the top end. So 1344 setup is what I have on the bike now. And I have yet to do a top speed test for this gearing setup. Today, it actually wasn't planned for me to do a top speed test. I didn't plan this. Actually, today I woke up a little bit late, just a little bit. So instead of taking my usual commute route to work, I actually took the freeway instead. And taking the freeway, instead of keeping it at 7,000 RPMs, I kept it at 8,000 RPMs. And going at 8,000 RPMs, the bike pretty much goes in indicated, I believe 70. Yeah, an indicated 70. It hovers around an indicated 70, which is pretty much a GPS 63 or 64. So not that fast, but I was coming up on a couple trucks. I was in the right hand lane, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and pass. And I let her rip, and I just decided to keep on holding it and see how fast the bike would actually go. And it actually surprised me. It really did. It surprised me. I will put up the screenshot now. All right, so you guys saw that screenshot there, and we went with 1344 gearing. We went a top speed of 80 miles an hour. That's insane. Okay? Now, I do want to preface this by saying this, all right? While I was going that fast, okay, the needle was at 10,000 RPMs, all right? So just because the bike can go 80 miles an hour with this type of gearing, that does not mean that you need to be riding on the highway 80 miles an hour with this thing. You do not want to be in red line, and that far in red line, for an extended period of time. This was just for me to pass up a truck and really just to experiment to see how fast this thing would go. After I was done with that, I literally just went right back into the right lane and kept myself at 8,000 RPM. All right. And as you guys can see, the average speed on that screenshot as well was pretty much 64 miles an hour. So that's pretty much that. So that's an even bigger argument for why the 13-tooth French sprocket is just a much better choice for this bike. I mean, top speed wise, I thought that I was going to lose a lot more speed. I actually go faster with 13-tooth French sprocket than I did with the stock gearing. And the stock gearing is supposed to go, you're supposed to go 84 miles an hour top speed, but I only went 79 because it's just too tall. And mind you, you know, I'm not a small guy, okay? You guys know this. I'm 6'5", over 300 pounds. So if this bike can go almost 80 miles an hour with me on it, it can definitely go that fast with you guys that are a lot smaller than I am. Okay, now it wasn't only a top speed test that I did today. You know, as per usual, every time that I do a top speed, I also do an MPG. And MPG wise, I'll show you guys the pictures that I took of the tripometer and of the gallons that I used. You'll see that here. All right, so you guys see that the amount of gallons that were used and the distance that was traveled. And if you do the math correctly, that is 50.7 miles per gallon. Okay. Generally, from my last MPG test that I've done, I usually get around 51 MPG if I take the highway. I really don't ride on the highway. It was just in a special occasion. I didn't want to be too late because right on the back roads usually it's a little bit. It's like an extra 10 minutes to get to my job. So I wanted to spare myself a little bit more time. So I took the freeway since I was running a little late. So. Again, I typically don't take the freeway because it's worse MPG, at usually around 51 MPG. So today I got 50.7, and you know, in general, if you guys have been watching my MPG series, you guys know with stock gearing, I had to ride at almost completely wide open throttle, which gave me the worst gas mileage that I ever had on this bike, which was 41 MPG. So with stock gearing, I got 41 MPG on the highway. With this gearing, I get 51. And you might be thinking to yourself, what's the huge why such the huge difference? Why is there such a huge, like 10 MPG difference between the bike now with lower gearing versus the bike with higher gearing? I mean, shouldn't higher gearing and lower RPMs mean better fuel economy? With this bike and with me on it, again, I will reiterate, I'm 6'5", almost 300 pounds. Absolutely not. Okay, the bike needs to be able to have lower gearing to pull me a lot easier. And some of you guys out there as well, you have the stock gearing on this bike, and your MPG with stock gearing also is not ideal. You know, mid 50s or low 50s on the highway. So what's the difference? With stock gearing, throttles was always all the way back or close to it when riding on a highway. Today, it's like that. Not all the way like that, like that. Going 8,000 RPM. Okay? And even when I was accelerating to go all the way to 10,000 RPM, it was just like that. Not full, like that. So, throttle position, okay, is the most important thing when it comes to wanting to maximize fuel efficiency with this bike. And I would say that could be true with pretty much any bike. But so if you're out there and let's say you do all the different changes and the different modifications that I have listed within my MPG experiments, and you don't, I mean, I hope you get much better results than I do, unless you weigh as much as I do, but most of you guys don't. But if you do all the modifications that I say to do, and you don't get the same results, or you don't get better results, check your throttle hand. Is having good throttle hand, it just takes discipline. Okay, you're not rocket launching from you know, red lights. You're not trying to rev the thing as high as it can go every single time that you get the chance. You know, only use enough throttle necessary to reach the RPMs that you need to cruise at. Yes, the bike will accelerate like a golf cart. That doesn't matter. What matters is if you're trying to maximize fuel efficiency, you need to have the right method and use the right technique to ensure that you're, you know, meeting that goal of maximizing fuel efficiency. So having a very light and steady throttle, usually when I'm riding on the back roads, that's as far back as it goes. Barely anything. That's the amount of throttle that I use when I'm riding on the back roads. On the highway, it's that much range. Okay. And I have videos out there of me riding taking you guys on my commute route. So watching a throttle hand, you guys know the technique. But if you're trying to get better fuel economy, and you've done all the upgrades, like I said, with the lower gearing, and you're not getting the results that I'm getting, or you're not getting better MPG results, I hope you guys get, like I said before, I hope you guys get way more better MPG results than me, because you guys are, most folks are not as heavy as I am. Again, I can't stress this enough. Your throttle hand, okay? Only use the amount of throttle that's needed. All right. All right, guys. So that's it for today. Just want to do a little short one. Stay safe out there, and peace.